What is happening right now in the transatlantic political space? Why did one public statement from Washington suddenly cause such an active discussion in European capitals, in Kyiv, and even among American analysts? And why are so many politicians now asking whether the United States is shifting its approach to the ongoing situation around Ukraine? Over the past few days, debates have intensified after the U.S. administration announced that it sees a path toward a near-term settlement. The message seemed optimistic, but instead of calming international partners, it sparked a wave of questions. Politicians in Europe, Ukraine, and even in the U.S. Congress began asking, what exactly stands behind this announcement? Is it a new political vision? Is it a shift in diplomatic priorities? Or simply an attempt to accelerate negotiations without revealing the details? Some critics argue that the administration is presenting the process too confidently. Others say the message was premature and may create misunderstandings. Meanwhile, supporters insist that any attempt to strengthen diplomatic channels is a positive development that could reduce long-term tensions. So, why did this topic become one of the most discussed today? Why is Donald Trump's approach described as too soft by some, while others consider it a pragmatic step? And most importantly, what does this debate mean for Ukraine, for Europe, and for wider geopolitical dynamics? Let's explore everything step by step. The discussion began after the U.S. administration, following internal consultations, made a statement that negotiations involving Washington, Moscow, and Kyiv are continuing. According to officials, the U.S. sees a realistic opportunity to move closer to a framework that may later serve as the basis for a broader settlement. Although the administration emphasized that no final decisions have been made, the very wording, especially the phrase near-term settlement, caused a strong response abroad. In several EU countries, officials expressed concern that the message might signal a shift in Washington's position. European diplomats shared that they were not fully informed about the details of the American approach, which raised questions about coordination. Some politicians in Brussels said that the plan appears unclear, while others stressed the importance of aligning strategies across the Atlantic. Several members of the European Parliament publicly commented that they would prefer greater transparency from Washington, particularly when it concerns issues with broad geopolitical implications. In Kyiv, the statement drew even more attention. Ukrainian commentators expressed concern that certain formulations could be interpreted as encouraging quicker diplomatic steps, even if the conditions are not yet aligned with Ukraine's expectations. Officials from several ministries noted that Kyiv values U.S. support and expects that any negotiations will remain based on principles that ensure long-term security. Some Ukrainian analysts stated that the administration's tone sounded ambiguous, although they recognized the importance of maintaining open communication channels. The critique also emerged within the U.S. itself. Political rivals of Donald Trump quickly framed the administration's message as overly flexible. They claimed that this approach might create the impression that Washington is ready to agree to terms that could be interpreted as more favorable to Moscow. However, several policy experts pushed back, arguing that diplomatic language often aims to reduce tensions and create space for dialogue. They pointed out that stating an intention to seek practical steps does not automatically imply readiness to make concessions. Russian officials, meanwhile, said that negotiations are continuing but cautioned that Moscow is not prepared for significant adjustments in its position. Representatives emphasized that discussions are ongoing but complex, and that any final framework must account for long-term regional stability. The main reason for the wave of commentary is the difference in expectations among various parties. The U.S. speaks about a potential pathway toward a settlement. Europe wants stricter alignment and clearer wording. Ukraine seeks guarantees that diplomatic steps will not undermine its long-term security goals. Russia insists that negotiations must reflect realities on the ground. This creates a situation where every word, phrase, or diplomatic nuance is closely analyzed, often leading to differing interpretations. Experts believe the U.S. will clarify its position over the coming weeks, especially as discussions with EU partners continue.